Deep in the forests of Central and South America, you'll find some of the most lethal animals. Their toxins are so powerful that just a tiny amount can take a human down. Poison dart frogs might look small, bright, and harmless, but they're incredibly dangerous. A speck of their poison, just 0.2 micrograms, is enough to deal with a person, making them 100 times more deadly than the deadliest snake, the inland tapir. There's no cure for their poison, leading to a very painful death. Their vivid colors don't mean they're hiding. They're actually a signal to stay away. The deadliest poison dart frog is the golden poison dart frog. It carries enough poison to eliminate 20,000 mice. Though it's tiny, less than the size of a thumb, its poison can shut down muscles and the heart within minutes. Indigenous people have used this frog's poison for hunting with blow darts for centuries, which is why the frogs are named this way. Their poison acts so quickly it can incapacitate birds and monkeys immediately. There are hundreds of poison dart frog species in the rainforests of Central and South America. Apart from the golden one, there are species like the strawberry poison dart frog, which sounds cute but is lethal, and others that seem to wear blue jeans. There's a green and black frog that looks like mint chocolate, and one called the dying poison dart frog, which has a very sour vibe. Other dangerous types include the splashback poison frog, the granular poison frog, and the phantasmal poison frog. These frogs are all extremely dangerous to eat because they contain a variety of toxins, many of which were unknown to science before these frogs were studied. However, poison dart frogs don't make these toxins themselves. They get them from their diet, like ants, mites, and millipedes. But how they eat such toxic prey without harming themselves, and how predators know to avoid these colorful danger signs, is intriguing. The way these frogs look, their poison, and what they eat all interact uniquely. This mix of bright colors and toxins, known as aposematism, means the frogs evolved to be as noticeable as neon signs and just as poisonous. Their color is a clear warning: eat at your own risk. It's interesting that when kept in captivity and fed fruit flies, these frogs don't develop any toxins. And if wild frogs are fed a non-toxic diet, they gradually lose their poison. Unlike many venomous creatures, like snakes or jellyfish, that produce their own poisons, the ability to eat toxic food and then use it for defense, a process called sequestration, is unusual in nature. This is what poison dart frogs do, in ways that are still somewhat mysterious to us. Poison dart frogs have two skin gland types, mucus and granular. The granular glands store toxic alkaloids. Alkaloids, nitrogen-rich compounds, aren't all bad. Some, like caffeine and nicotine, are even useful to us. Yet the alkaloids on these frogs range from tasting bad to being deadly. Only 10% of these toxins' origins are known, often traced back to the frog's diet. Research shows that strawberry poison dart frogs get much of their poison from tiny oribated mites, tiny relatives of spiders and scorpions, which have their own toxins for defense. Unfortunately for these mites, the frogs use these toxins as their own. By eating these mites, frogs increase their poison level. They also get toxins from certain beetles and millipedes, including the very deadly bacteriotoxins from mellirid beetles. The process of becoming more poisonous isn't straightforward. Eating a particular bug doesn't just add more toxin. Frogs can enhance the poison's potency. For instance, consuming bugs with Pumila toxin allows some frogs to modify it into a much more toxic form, Allopumila toxin. Yet, exactly how frogs handle these toxins in their bodies is still a bit of a mystery. Frogs have special glands under their skin that produce poison. These glands are connected to tiny tubes that release the poison when a predator tries to attack them, often causing the attacker to die quickly. The poison on the frog's skin is usually made of neurotoxins, which are dangerous chemicals that can stop the nerves from working properly, making it impossible for muscles to move. Normally, our nerves use electrical signals to talk to our muscles. These signals are made by moving tiny charged particles called ions. When a nerve is just hanging out and not sending signals, It has a negative charge inside because it pushes out positively charged sodium ions. When something excites the nerve, it lets sodium ions rush in because of the attraction between the positive ions outside and the negative inside. This rush of sodium ions changes the nerve's charge and lets it send a signal by releasing chemicals called neurotransmitters. But certain poisons can mess up this whole process. For example, batrachotoxin, a type of toxin, can stick to the nerve and force it to stay open, letting sodium ions move in and out without control. This messes up the nerve's charge and stops it from working, causing paralysis in important muscles, like the ones for breathing and beating the heart. Once these muscles stop working, the predator dies. There are also other poisons from frogs that mess with different parts of the nerve, leading to the same dangerous results. What's really interesting is that these frogs aren't affected by their own poisons. Research has shown that some frogs avoid being poisoned by their own toxins by making tiny changes to their nerve cells. They change just one part of the molecule on their nerve cells, which stops the toxin from attaching and allows the nerves to work normally. Specifically, the golden poison dart frog has been found to have changes in its DNA that make it immune to batrachotoxin and other poisons it carries. However, it's still a mystery how these frogs can resist so many different poisons. Take the puffer fish, for example. It only needs to resist one poison, tetrodotoxin. But poison dart frogs are immune to a lot more dangerous substances, even though they don't make these toxins themselves. These toxins are so strong that the golden dart frog is considered the most poisonous animal in the world. Just touching one, especially if you have a cut, could be deadly because the toxin can get in through the skin or even tiny sweat pores. It's uncertain if anyone has actually tested this due to the extreme danger, but considering how quickly the toxin eliminates predators that try to eat them, it raises the question of how predators learn to avoid these brightly colored frogs. Many poison dart frogs are brightly colored, which seems to be a good strategy for warning predators. A study found that birds are less likely to go after yellow frogs than blue ones, suggesting that birds are more cautious around frogs with brighter colors. The more visible the frog, the less likely it is to be attacked. But if the poison from golden poison dart frogs is always deadly when eaten, how do predators learn to avoid them? One idea is that not every frog has the same level of poison. Younger frogs, which haven't collected as much poison, might not take a predator down but still make them feel terrible. Also, a predator doesn't need to actually eat the frog to be affected by its poison. Just touching the frog, even with a wet nose, could be enough to teach the predator that brightly colored frogs are not safe to eat. Plus, some predators might naturally avoid colorful animals because, over millions of years, the ones that stayed away from these types of prey lived longer. But what about predators that can't see colors, like bullet ants and bromide spiders? These animals are big enough to hunt small frogs and often do, even though they don't rely on color to find their food. So, how do they know which frogs are dangerous? Scientists did an experiment where they gave bullet ants and bromide spiders both harmless Bransford's litter frogs and poisonous strawberry dart frogs to see what would happen. Bullet ants would attack young strawberry dart frogs, but not the adults, while the spiders avoided the poisonous frogs at any age, even though they were okay with eating the non-poisonous ones. This suggests that these predators learn which frogs to avoid, probably by using their sense of touch and smell. However, the poison frogs aren't always out of danger. There's a type of snake, the fire-bellied snake, that's immune to the golden poison dart frog's batrachotoxins. This snake is the frog's only known natural enemy. Also, the royal ground snake, a relative, was seen attacking 3 striped poison frogs for the first time in the wild, meaning there's still much to learn. This hints at an ongoing battle between these frogs and their predators. Despite their deadly defenses, poison dart frogs face threats they can't counter with their venom. About 1/4 of these frog species are at risk of extinction due to habitat destruction, disease, and being taken for the pet trade. Yet these little frogs are deceptively powerful, proving that even the smallest and cutest creatures can be incredibly dangerous. As humans, we can't turn the toxins we consume into weapons, but we can absorb something much more powerful: knowledge. By understanding how poison dart frogs resist toxins, we might someday learn to protect ourselves from certain poisons. Learning about the relationships between these frogs, their hunters, and their prey helps us figure out how to save them. Biology, along with the math, chemistry, and physics it involves, is our best tool for safeguarding our health and preserving the amazing world around us. We've unraveled the mystery of poison dart frogs' deadly beauty. If you're fascinated by nature's wonders, hit like, share, comment, and subscribe for more incredible wildlife stories. Join us next time.